So we don't officially have a president right now. I don't know, Laura, do you mind just running it?
Sure.
And then, or Heidi, do you want to? I don't care. We don't officially have a president. But we probably should put that under new business because I didn't think of it. So when we get around to that, but I'll let one of you guys take us going, get us going.
Laura, you have a preference? Nope, I would say go for it because you have more experience, so go for it. Okay. So good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. It's been a long day, Monday. May have a few kids popping in, so I apologize for that. I'm just opening actually the library meeting. So for additions, changes to the agenda, just sounds like we maybe under new business need to put electing new officers for the board.
We do. And then I was going to say that I think I would hold off on doing my presentation. It's going to make it for a real short meeting, but I'd rather do that when we can all be in the same room together.
Okay.
I think it would be better than online. So either, who knows when that'll be, hopefully soon, but we'll just see, I guess.
Sounds good.
We did have at least 3 people who didn't want to meet in person, so I thought it would be better. And we got Chris here tonight. So how about that? We get to see her face.
Wonderful. Any other changes or additions to the agenda? No? Okay. For the minutes, for the June meeting minutes, does anybody have any additions, revisions? No? Somebody like to make a motion to approve the June meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the June meeting minutes.
Thank you. Does anybody want to second that?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. All right, so the June meeting minutes are approved. And then we can move into reports. Jenny, if you want to take it away.
All right. I didn't put them quite in order, but that's okay. So the financial report is included there. The personnel data is not integrated into our new financial software yet. So it doesn't show up. So I have no idea how much money we're spending in personnel. I trust that Tracy and everybody knows what they're doing or knows what she's doing with that. That will be okay. And that she would tell me if we weren't. So the only piece that I have is that we're about 4% in expenditures for the library services piece of that, which, you know, that would lead me to believe that we would be right on target for the month with that 8% allotment for the month of July. We have not had super high expenditures in anything yet. So that is where we are. Did anybody have any questions so far on that? Okay, if you like, I can just move right into my report then. Roll back up here. Sorry, I've got 2 different computers going, trying to read everything. So our community endowment, I just wanted to let you know, we did draw from the community endowment this year. And so we have pulled $2,100, which is what we can pull 5% off of that endowment, and to help supplement the family place equipment needs. We were really hoping to start this fall, but I think we're gonna do a soft opening if we're able, with just having people able to come in and use the equipment in the story time or the learning center, and then start officially in the spring if we're in a place where we can do that. It's been really hard to hold off on that, but we just want to make sure that everything's safe on that. And I just found out after I had done this too, that so it's not in here, that the Rotary Club will be donating over $3,000 toward the family place as well. So we'll have that funding coming in. We received $4,000 donation for the endowment this month, or in June, and then a $2,500 donation this month. So the endowment continues to grow, and that's really wonderful. And thanks to those who've helped with writing thank yous for those. those people. We have a few staffing updates. It's been a little bit crazy around the library. Alex Chokamamani, who was one of our library assistant ones, and Liz Peterson, both had given their notice earlier. As you knew, we had an opening last month from Melanie, who moved out of state, and then Adolphson, who moved out of state, and then another part-time opening woman, Marge, decided to resign. She just has another full-time job. So she decided that one job was enough for a while. So Liz, same boat, but she did get a promotion at her full-time library position. So and then Alex has a full-time job somewhere else. So good for them, celebrate that, but sad for us. And then Autumn, who was a fairly new library assistant, also just got a new job. So she is leaving us shortly, like next week. Liz did give a full month notice to give us time to get things settled. So we have hired 2, but we have now 3 more openings. It's kind of funny. Our newest person, Carla, has only been here since June. She's caught on fast and she's fantastic, but we are down a few staff members, but we have 2 new ones, Annie Craycraft and Dara Stewart, and they are both super quick learners. One has library experience and the other one has some great management type, not management, but worked in a front office. So frontline experience, knows how to handle things. And I'll tell you, just as an aside, I had just taken a class right before I interviewed her on how frontline staff and people who work in like those front offices of businesses or whatever are the ones who basically are on fire, the ones who are at the front line all the time, getting the hardest questions and sometimes dealing with the hardest patrons and customers right up front. So when she came in, it felt like it was meant to be for her to be in this role. She worked in a legal office and talked about some of the tough clientele she had to kind of settle down sometimes. So it was pretty interesting. And they're in the process of setting up interviews right now. The position closed the 17th. So they'll be setting up interviews for those positions. And we did have some good folks, but one thing we're going to do is refocus a little on the idea of hiring some high school kids. We have done that once and it worked out pretty well. He was great, but I feel we kind of thought that it was tough working around his schedule, but we're thinking if we did some jobs sharing, so maybe they each took 6 or 8 hours instead of the full amount, that we could make that work and be a little more flexible for those positions. And also slow down the learning process. It is a pretty quick learning curve. We teach pretty quickly. So we're thinking we could just slow that down a little bit and have them start off more shelving and checking in and with back room projects. And then once they'd been there a bit, then we'd start training for front desk and things like that. So that being said, we have had several younger kids apply, and I think it might be a really good fit. We've had some strong applicants that I think might fit. So hopefully we will see some good results from doing that. We did start mandating masks again last week on Wednesday. There have been a couple questions, but on our side, there haven't been really any complaints, at least that I've heard of yet. I've been out of the office for a couple of days, but as of Thursday, there hadn't been any. I had one person just kind of saying, how can you do that? And just so everyone kind of understands that, in case you don't, while the governor mandated that we cannot, as a city, do a mask mandate for other facilities like businesses and things, we can certainly do one for our own buildings. So that was a decision we all made together, was to, as a group, the department heads, to do this mandate within our buildings. And our staff is on board that many of them have been wearing masks the whole time. Our programming team has just said that they'll continue programming outside as long as possible, and weather making that possible. If they do move them inside, which has been something we've discussed, we'll just require masks and probably go for about half attendance so that we don't overstuff the meeting rooms. Now, that was last week. As things continue to change, we'll see what happens. We'll continue to be as flexible as possible, and hopefully we can just, the main goal for us obviously is serving the public the best we can. And last but not least, in the community stuff, we are just getting ready to order those smart benches from the $5,000 grant that I got from the state library. Everyone who assigned, basically anyone who applied for it got it. If they didn't get it, the state helped them figure out how to rewrite it to get it. So it wasn't a competitive grant. And I did include a photo in the packet so you guys could see what they're going to look like. They're really nice. And then our parks guys will be helping us install those. They have not been ordered yet. We're just getting approval for that process. And then finally, I did include a video an interview that I did with the ARSL OCLC, I'm sorry, with the OCLC Realm project. Realm is a project that's helping libraries reopen by doing studies and introducing information, keeping everybody in information about how to reopen successfully and safely on all ends. So they asked us kind of to just look back at the last year and talk about that, what the measures we took during COVID. So I had a video. I did a video. They had called me. Someone recommended me, and that is included in your packet. And then I was also called. This has not ever happened before. I did not submit a session for ARSL this year, but they called me and asked me to present on policies and procedures, which is something I've presented on at other organizational meetings and things. So Emily, I actually pulled Emily into it and asked her if she'd present with me so we could do a topic more on making policies inclusive and equitable for the public and for everyone, keeping everybody in mind. And she is going to take that with me. So we're going to be working on that over the next couple of months. Barring any changes, we are going to Reno for that conference in October. We'll see what happens. And then I also got a call from Web Junction and aided them in reviewing a really long, actually, thing called the Director's Ask, which is administrative secret knowledge. It's really to help new librarians learn their role in smaller libraries. So I helped review the whole class and then kind of gave my suggestions for rewriting it and updating it. It's about 15 years old, but it's really got some good data and information in there. So we'll see what comes of that. And then finally, kind of exciting, I was called by, and also someone at the ARSL office recommended me, an associate NBC News producer from New York called me this month and interviewed me for about a half hour, just about librarianship and our many hats that we wear in the public. And she asked me, if that gets picked up, would you be okay being interviewed on Good Morning America or by Lester Holt, which I thought was really exciting and cool. I have no idea if it will get picked up or what will happen with that, but it's kind of fun. It was fun to talk to her anyway. And then that's all I have this time. So we are on to staff reports if you guys have any questions for me. Amy does.
Exciting.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I just want to point out, Amy mentions the Traces Buseum, which that was in town today. I know when I left, they had over 20 people who went through it. So I think that's great. And then she's starting to do some homebound delivery and other things. She is speaking for 2 programs at ILA this year in October. So lots of stuff. She's got a lot of stuff going on. Everybody really does. And Kelly, I wanted to point out, has agreed to take a role writing grants for us and was busy and submitted 2 or 3 grants last month. One is a big national grant that took quite a bit of work. The other 2 were a couple smaller grants. I don't think she mentioned any of those. Oh, she mentioned the Community Foundation grant and the Emergency Connectivity Fund, which is the national one. Looking at getting some new computers and new iPads for the library. So lots and lots going on. Any other questions or things you wanted to bring up from reports?
I see a lot of head shaking now.
All right.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jenny.
Yeah.
So as Jenny mentioned, the training presentation will hold for in-person, correct? And then any old business? No? Okay, and then we'll go on to new business of electing officers. So and please don't everybody talk at once from my year's experience before, jokingly. We'll need president, vice president, and secretary. And does anybody have questions about what the responsibilities and roles of each of those are? No? Okay. Is anybody willing or interested in taking on any of these roles? I open it up for everyone.
I'd like to be considered to be the secretary again for another session or term.
Wonderful. Thank you,
If
Scott.
that's okay.
Yes, with me.
I'm almost getting good at it. Almost. I'm not quite timely yet.
No, that's very good. Very good. Wonderful. Thank you. Anybody else have an interest or want to speak up for a position? Anybody?
I can do whatever.
Okay.
I'm open to it.
Thank you, Jesse. Anybody else? Interest? And Jenny, please speak up if there's a better way of doing this. We can pull names out of hats.
Just call out somebody's name and say, I nominate them.
I'm gonna say I have a kiddo that would gladly like just randomly point to pictures if we have, no. Okay. Well, in that case, Jess, how about what are you interested in as far as VP president?
I've done both before, so whichever one someone else doesn't want to do.
Okay. What are we thinking then?
I will do the vice president one again, if no one else objects. I think that's what I just did this past.
Yep. Sounds great. And looks like we have you then returning for our president role.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I think you just have to approve your slate then.
Yeah, okay, so would somebody like to make a motion to,
I move that we approve the slate of candidates.
thank you. Is there a second? That was fast.
Hurry.
Anybody want to make a motion to second that?
I make a motion to second.
All in favor, say aye.
I
All opposed, say nay. All right, then that will pass. Thank you, everybody, for volunteering. And then with that, is there anything else for new business before we adjourn? Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn with our next meeting being September 20th?
make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Perfect. So meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Night.
Bye.
See y'all next month.
Yeah.